Hi, my name is John Reese. I'm with Larimer County Search and Rescue. This video is going to be sort of a real-world application of using an extended rappel, transitioning to that edge, going down, and then ascending that rope. So one of the first benefits that we have with an extended rappel using the 4-foot sling system that we have is when you approach the section where you need to where you're getting closer to that edge and you need to get yourself on rappel, well, you can tie yourself in right away before you even start messing around with your ATC and putting yourself on actual rappel. So at this moment, with the extension leg of my extended rappel, I've just clipped myself in. I'm now securely into this rope and I'm safely, still not too close to that edge, but I've mitigated that fall factor. It's one of the big benefits for what we're doing here. So at this point, I'll step back towards my anchor so I unweight this system. And I get myself in the rope on rappel. The nice thing is, while I'm doing this, while I'm messing around with getting my ATC set up, getting my third hand set up, I'm still tied into that system. I'm still locked in. I'm still safe. This is still a closed system. So even though I'm going through and my hand's off the rope, I'm still fully secure. And one thing with your prussiks, make sure you've dressed them properly. 9 times out of 10, if a prussik fails or slips and it's not under a huge amount of pressure or a huge amount of tension, usually it's because it's not dressed properly. All right, my third hand's in place. My ATC is in place. I'm locked in there, locked in here. I'm still locked in here. So while I was doing all of that, something that took a minute, 2 minutes, I was still safe. I had secured myself as soon as I got to a slightly higher risk area. All right, but now that I can test this, notice that initial arm of my extension that I clipped myself in with is slack. So what I'm now testing is that my third hand and my ATC are fully weighted, are fully able to take my weight. But I'm testing it while still staying safe, still staying connected. All right, that's looking pretty good. I can go ahead and disconnect here. And for this leg, I usually just put it on my belay loop. You can lock it if that's what you are used to doing. This has nothing to do with life safety anymore, so technically you don't need to, but it's not a bad habit to be into lock all lockers. At this point, I approach the edge.
Here in the video, the wind became really intense, making it nearly impossible for anything I was saying to be heard. The big takeaway here is when you're approaching the edge, take the easiest path. For me, that was going climber's left and using a little ledge so that I could then traverse back to the area I wanted to rappel from. Another point, when you're rappelling with an extended rappel, notice that the ATC is further away from you, so before you let the rock engage the rope, you have to lean back a little further so you're not putting the ATC directly on the rock.
Once you've gone over that edge and you're now in the middle of your rappel, occasionally you're going to come across, not a perfect sheet of rock. You're going to have grooves, different kinds of features here. And one of the things you got to remember, the primary way that you push off from those things needs to be your legs. These are your strongest muscles in the body. It's going to be so much easier for you to use your feet to push off rather than using your arms. Now, it's not to say you won't use your arms, you will, but make sure this isn't your primary way of pushing your body away, because at that point, your arms are going to get exhausted real quick. Use your legs. It's nice and easy. And then when you come across certain kinds of obstacles like a large roof like this, one of the key things to remember is use your legs and keep your feet high. If people all of a sudden drop their feet, they think, okay, I'm coming to the roof, I gotta go underneath it. Well, now you've just forced yourself to use your hands again, your arms, and you're probably scraping up your legs and not having a good day. But if you keep your feet out, stay high with your feet, and it feels almost uncomfortable. You're almost putting your feet at the same height as your legs, or same height as your head. But now I'm almost through this roof right here. Now at this point, if you can find a feature to sort of slowly walk yourself underneath the roof, that's great. If not, here's where you use your arms. You let the rope eventually take your weight again. At that point, you're stable. Down you go. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to pretend that this is in a couple hundred more feet below me. It's not just the ground 2 feet away, and I need to get back up to the top here. So I'm going to transition to ascending the rope. Now the first thing I do, I make sure that my third hand is set, and that essentially at that point it's a hands-free system. Before I do anything else though, maybe about 5 feet below me, 10 feet below me, closer the better, but not too close, make myself a catastrophe knot. So that way, in case I have just royally messed something up, I undo my third hand before I'm supposed to and I start sliding, that catastrophe knot is going to get sucked into either a prusik or the ATC and stop me from falling those extra hundreds of feet. So next thing I'll do is put my medium connection on, or your medium foot stirrup, in that slim phrase that we use. Now the reason why I like to do this guy at this point is it's going to help to build the rest of my system, because I can put a little bit of tension on that rope as I'm putting on my other prusiks. And again, I've not disconnected anything, so I'm still 100% safe, as safe as I was when I first started sliding or rappelling down the rope. So again, important to dress those prusiks appropriately. So go on my foot. And now I can pretty comfortably apply some tension to this section of the rope as I build the rest of my system. So we're kind of working backwards. In slim, we have our medium. Now we're going to do our long. Get that prusik nice and good. Now for the eye, the interconnect. So that interconnect is critical because this becomes your second point of contact when you start ascending. And remember, that's a rule that we do our absolute best to follow anytime we're in a rescue situation. And when you're in this steep of a situation, you really want to make sure, this vertical one, that you are connected twice over. All right, so that's locked in. That's my first connection. Now for my last one, the sky hook, or your short. That goes up above your ATC. This is an important fact. This can't go below your ATC because we need to be able to introduce slack into this part of your system to then break down the ATC. So you got to make sure that this goes up above your ATC. And for me, I like a 2-rep prusik, but that's a conversation for another day. So that sky hook, this is my primary connection when I'm ascending. My secondary is going to be the interconnect between my long and my belay loop here. Now I have my entire ascending system connected and built. I'll get my foot in there. Now it's appropriate to break down your lowering system, your rappelling system. You never want to break down one while you're in the middle of putting another one together, because who knows if you did it correctly. You got to make sure that you have one complete system built before you deconstruct that other system. So in order for me to do that, well, I can at this point break that third hand and lower myself. And what I just did is I transitioned the tension, the weight. Now the weight is no longer on my ATC, it's on my sky hook. That's where my weight is. So at this point, you may have to lift up your legs here to introduce slack here. Break down my ATC. Disconnect my third hand. And at this point, I'm ready to start going up. Now, it's important that you don't get over ambitious and throw your foot loops all the way up, those stirrups up as high as you possibly can go. This eventually could be a technique that you utilize, but in the beginning, you're just going to cause a lot of heartache. Best thing to do, give yourself short throws. So only come up maybe a foot or so. At this point, you want to grab the rope. Be careful that you're not grabbing the prussiks, or else you mind your prussik down. So grab in between those prussiks. Think of pulling your feet under your rear end, and then at that point, you're using your strong muscles, your big muscles, your feet, your legs, and you stand up. Now as I did that, you notice I slid that sky hook? It's not a separate process. Make sure you don't get into the habit of stepping up, standing here for a minute, then sliding that sky hook. That needs to be one continuous motion. If I'm going up, that sky hook's going up, because this is what protects me. This is what my primary safety is. And then get used to your rhythm. So feet under, step up, slide up, lean back. Weight the sky hook, weight the sky hook, slide your foot stirrups up, and repeat. Well, turns out I forgot something, so we're gonna have to go back down, but we're not gonna use our prussiks. We're gonna transition back to a lower or a rappel. Now again, I'm not doing anything with this system until I've put in my other system. So this system's staying in place, and one of the nice things about Skyhook and the way our extended rappel is, this is the area I'm working. I'm not having to be all right in here where my various foot stirrups are. So it's up to you what your order is. My preference is I like to put my third hand on first. That's more of a hands-free system than my rappel device. You want to get nice and good at tying these prussiks, so they can surely take a lot of time sometimes. All right, third hand's in. Now, time to put my ATC in. Now, you notice I have tension here, that's because my feet are still connected with my foot stirrups. All I need to do is just bring them up. Or slide everything down. Alright, my ATC is in. My third hand is in. Now I can start deconstructing things. So I have my 2 points of contact, my third hand and my ATC for my lowering system. I can start deconstructing the rest. But my sky hook's going to be last. So I start with the interconnect. Now you'll notice I like to do a quick twist and coil of my soft goods, my slings and prussics. The neater you can keep things on your harness, the less they're going to snag, the less they're going to get in your way, the easier your day is going to be. So that's kind of the fun of everything here is we all find our own systems that work for us. I like to keep my interconnect and my long foot stirrup on the same beaner. Now, I'm not going to disconnect this one yet, my medium, because I'm going to use this to actually stand up just enough so I can break this upper prusik, my sky hook prusik, which will allow me to slide it down and weight this system. Now, of course, before you do that, try to get it as much of that slack out as you can. All right, so I'm going to stand up here. Notice I didn't stand up all the way, just enough to get some slack, break that, then ease myself down. And at this point, I've put my weight onto my third hand, my ATC. This is pretty loose. Loose enough that I can disconnect. All right, at this point, we're ready to rappel. So let's say you're having to rappel down and for some reason you have to take your pack with you and it has a lot of weight in it. Well, one of the reasons we learn how to tie these chest harnesses, or you can use a commercially available chest harness, is to ease some of this weight. And the way we're going to do it with this extended rappel, before we'd clip into the rope, that doesn't do us any good. Now, we're going to clip into the sling that's made the extended rappel, and that's then going to clip into our chest harness. The point of this is to stop you from going upside down. It's not to keep you vertical. There's really very few things out there that could actually keep you more in a sitting position. But what it does is take the primary strain from your stomach and abdominal muscles of keeping that pack upright. You can sort of rest a little bit more on that chest harness. And at this point, just keep on going down.